There is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not, really? It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has...
is not, really? It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no...
What's going on, everybody?
Not, really? It is to me.
Welcome to the lab. I'm your host.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
Good to be here. Good to see you.
But I have to.
And I do believe there are corn dog
Don't say
emojis,
any F's and stuff.
thanks to my esteemed partner here.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her
Man, where are they?
on the side
Let's
and
see
worry
it.
about the boys.
Let's see.
Where is are there? Yep, there they are. There's those corn. If you look down there, there's just
Oh,
corn dog after corn dog.
that's
down.
That's what I'm talking. Now we need some ketchup packets and mustard packets.
Oh man, that is too
Oh.
good. That is too good. How are you, Chris?
Josh, outstanding. How about you, bud?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much, and thanks for being here. What a fun thing that we've got going on here with the call-ins, and they are fantastic.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for
Yeah,
the invite.
man. And so tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to take some phone calls. Now, once again, I will say that I have my favorite button of all time. It's ready to go at any time. Who will be the first? I doubt it'll happen because people that come here just love us. But, you know, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. And I had to thank here for some reason. Let me see.
You need to name your button.
My
Call
corn
it
dog
like-
button?
No. Yeah, the cutoff, just like down the range or something like that. Like you're on the pistol range. It's just like ready on the line, ready on the line.
I don't know. I don't know what to call it. Maybe I call it the run button.
No,
Because you get ran off.
I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
And and if somebody's mean or then I'll play that
dump
song.
button.
And then I'll mock them mercilessly. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
look, Allie says the gong button. The gong.
I thought about the gong button, but I like my song.
No, you don't like that call.
It's like, right in my. Do you remember the Larry David show?
The Larry David Show. Refresh my memory.
I don't know. I think that's just what it's called.
Hey now,
And
that's
he-
a sentence.
Did
He
he
used to
eat
say
corn
that.
dogs?
No, he didn't eat any corn dogs, but he very
Okay, what
well
about
could have. So here's how it's going to work. We'll take, obviously, we'll get through as many as we can. While somebody is talking, if you call, you'll probably just ring. So if you can wait, and we'll try to move through, I know people want to call and talk to the fluffinator. By the way, your hair looks spectacular.
I went in today. Thank you so much. As you know, we talked earlier, and
Yes, we did.
I said, "Can I get the Larry?" And they gave me the Mo.
The Mo, yeah.
Still.
But it's better than the curly, you know. So
That's right.
you're doing it, and you look fantastic. And so let's without further ado, I guess we'll open the lines and see what's happening here. Let me take a look here. And let me put the number up on the screen I guess we'll just wait for it to ring, Chris. I mean, that's
Yeah, but we had a lot. Karen and I were out today. She got her stuff. She got some nails done, and she looks beautiful as ever. And
yeah,
I went out and grabbed a haircut while we're waiting for a phone call, and track the news like everybody else. Craziness out there. We don't need to go there tonight, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, I have really no interest in talking about something that I'm not qualified to talk about. I know that there's heavy hearts out there, and I pray for everybody that is affected. And so it's just, it's the worst, so you're not going to get any, advice from me. It's just, I'm not comfortable with it. It's just a tragedy, and that's all I know. And that's all.
So have you figured out this closed caption? I see Chris has put that on my channel too. And I have you talked to YouTube? Because I talked to YouTube support, and they said, look, that all that closed caption has to be activated from the other side, either once it's either played or when you press, Command C or C, because I've tried everything in my power, and if you know a secret, I'd like to know it, because I certainly want to take care of that guy and others.
I don't know. I'll have to check, and I certainly will. But no, I don't. So I will take it. We got our first call of the night, though, and let's go ahead and take it. Hi, caller. You're on the air. Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Hey, I can just barely hear you. I'm just turning the sound up a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Either that or I'm getting old. Okay.
Can you hear me any better?
Hear you though. I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
I'm Crank.
Yeah.
How are
y'all
you?
tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Yes, I'm good. So I was going to be the brave one to take the bull by the horns and just go have my first call. Everybody's scared, I think, because there's somebody extra on there tonight.
Since you called in, now they're cracking. It's crack-a-lacking. It's going.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take
It's corn dogging.
Say hi to Chris.
He is. It's corn dogging.
It is corn dogging.
It's corn dog emoji. I didn't even know it was there. I just put up an ear of corn and a dog. That was the best I could do. Well,
what can I do for you?
I'm not gonna live that down. Nothing.
Nope.
Just gonna call in and say hello.
Yeah.
And I love this call in. It's awesome. And we are the lab rap, the best ever. No S and stuff.
No.
Everybody's nice. So you guys are great together. I always love to watch y'all, listen to y'all. You've all met, and that's not seen a lot. So, also wanted to ask Chris something. Okay,
feel free.
Where's your favorite place to? Where's your favorite place in the U.S. to park the Airstream? I guess, so to speak, like to hang out in the country.
Thank you for asking that question. There's so many beautiful places, right?
Yeah.
We love it on both, the Southeast, down in, the Florida area as well as Alabama, down in, and then, the Destin area in Florida.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Great Smokies.
Area.
The Great Smokies.
I'm right there, close to that. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And they just started charging for that to go into that this year. Believe it or not, the
really
National Park, National Park
go
Services.
into the actual national park.
Yep. They're going to charge an
Literally,
entrance
as you
fee.
go out of Gatlinburg into the park.
Uh-huh.
Really,
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's brand new. Brand new this year. We just learned that.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't want to go how far back. I mean, for years, my family, camped there, went there all the time, and so. Have you been to the? You probably have been to Dollywood, but have you been to the Stampede?
Yes.
I don't think they can call it the Dixie Stampede anymore. But did you like it?
I loved it. Were you in that? Were you in that show?
No. I've been there several times. I just wondered if you had been there. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
I've
Yes,
ridden
ma'am.
horses. I ain't that good. No.
There you go.
Oh, don't call me ma'am either.
All right. Sorry about that. I apologize.
It was good. Yeah.
I'm on Josh's show for the first call in, and I've already made my first mistake.
Yeah, one of many mistakes you've made on this show. No problem. Hey, thank you so much for calling.
All right.
Okay.
You all have a great night.
All right.
And talk to you later.
Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Maybe you're not on the air. We'll see. Oh, yeah, you are for sure. La di da da. It's blown. We're blown up over here, Chris. We're blown up.
Okay, keep it going, buddy. I'll follow your lead.
Yep. All right, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Well, hello there, Josh and Mr. Chris.
Is this Jack?
Yes, sir.
Jack. What's up?
Hey, I meant to ask you the other night about a question, what's been going around and everything since Mr. Bluff is up there.
There he is.
I want you and his opinion on what Kansas is saying. She's got to put summer aside and think about her and the boys. That kind of aggravates me badly.
Yeah. Chris, I'll let you take that. You're familiar with Candace saying, that she's got to put her kids she's got to put them to the side. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, hey, man, first of all, thanks for calling in. It's great to hear you.
Hey, I'm from wherever one of your buddies' little hometown here in Little Cookie Town.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Jack's a veteran caller. This is his second call.
This is awesome. Awesome. So, to answer your question, for me, when I first heard that, it was obviously, disturbing to hear that because, like all of us, we all felt like, what's the next thing we can do? And now all of a sudden, you're hearing, from Candace saying that she doesn't want to do anything else other than focus on the three boys who, are, quote, with her, i.e. in terms of around. So that one, the other thought that I had was, is she thinking, or is she obviously knows something more that we don't know? And why would you say that about your daughter who, just recently had a birthday? And so, how did it bug you, bud? What went through your mind?
It just hit me in the wrong spot in my heart because, if that was my daughter, if I was in their shoes, and I know my boys has been taken away, putting in a good place for right now, I'll be focusing on my daughter, but the one's missing. You see what I'm talking about?
Yep. Understand it. Yep. Josh, what say you?
Yeah, I think these slips and these these missteps that she's had are all at this point in her head. It's all subliminal. I feel she knows that Summer isn't coming home, and she has made peace with that in her head, unfortunately, which is completely wrong. but it's always been about the boys. And I've heard that from several people. And I just don't think that she has any chance. I don't have any information. This is just my opinion. But it would be foolish to give those children back to her. And that's the one thing that she's holding on to that she can feel decent about, is that she can kind of posture about getting the boys back, but she just knows that Summer isn't coming back. And so that's why that's just my opinion.
Yeah. But I believe way down deep inside, that there's more involved in it than, their back known would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the information that's out there definitely isn't. I mean, there's a entire story that hasn't been told yet, and the answers are out there. Just who knows when they're coming out and if they do, and I believe that they will. But that, to me, that is kind of how I feel about it. That's what I think she means by that.
Yeah. All right, then I'll get off there and let another caller come in here.
You're awesome, Jack. Thank you.
You're welcome, Chris. And y'all have a good night, and right. God bless y'all.
Thanks a lot,
sir.
Jack.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Jack, a fan favorite. Always calling with the heat. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, quit buzzing like that. It's going to blow up. I have a feeling that.
Well, he's doing that. How's everybody doing tonight? It's great to have you here. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to Josh's channel. And become a lab rat.
Yeah, give it a try.
Hammer that button, that thumbs up.
Let's see here. And
I hope you guys had a great day.
Hello?
Caller, you're on the air. Hello, how are you? What happened? You hung up. She hung up.
She was there. She was there.
She certainly was there. Come on now. We got people hanging up, calling left and right and hanging up.
Well, as soon as they see me, it's like click. Oh, I thought I was talking to Josh. Click.
Click. Right.
We don't blame you, folks. We don't know. We don't blame you. You should see me drive. When I was born, they told my mother, they slapped my mother.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, actually.
It actually does.
And I could see why they would do that, because I do
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So while he's looking for a microwave, we'll keep things going. Hopefully everybody's doing well, and you had a great day today. Linda, happy birthday. Linda Hansen. It's a great day. Happy birthday. Thanks, Mountain Cap. I'm answering these chats over here for you.
I appreciate it, Chris. You're doing a good job, too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Black. How you from Michigan, Jeezy? I love Shih Tzu Not. I love that.
That's a great name, isn't it?
That's a dog. I love that. Absolutely love it. She thinks you're hanging up on people over here.
I think I am. They're just coming in one after the other and then disconnecting. So that's fun.
It's okay. Hey, Shelby.
Hello.
Hello.
Caller, you're on the air. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Kalamazoo. What can we do for you?
Well, Josh, I want you to know that I've been watching your show, and you have really, really grown a lot. I mean, I commend you for everything that you say and do.
Thank you.
Much more so than the other ones.
I appreciate
you
that.
handle yourself well.
and it's very respectful.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
And I just want you to know that keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you have a good night.
All right, you too.
Awesome.
Well, that was very nice.
That was very nice. That was awesome. Well deserved. I second that.
I third it, actually.
Somebody says I'm talking like a mama's boy.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Well, I thought you were on the air, but I guess you're not. We're getting there. On hold. Someone's on hold here.
Hello?
Hello. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Where are you calling from?
Indiana.
Oh, awesome. What can we do for you?
Well, I just wanted to say how much we love your show. You and Chris both. We watch you guys religiously.
Thank you.
I wanted to say how much we love your show. You and Chris both. To make love.
I think you have an echo. I think either your TV's on in the background or radio or something.
And this is for the mixed love.
Okay, go ahead.
My question to you is, if you know something about the Delphi murders, who do you contact?
Indiana State Police or the FBI. Call the number. Yes, ma'am, that they've made available.
Indiana State Police.
That's who I would call.
Indiana State Police.
Correct.
Okay, because a friend of mine feels that you have the wrong man. There's a man that fits the profile more than the other guy.
Yeah, and when you say I have the wrong man, who do I have?
The guy that they've been talking about, the heavy set man with the beard and brown hair.
I was going to say
I'm not
Santa
talking
Claus.
about you, John.
Well, yeah, I don't have that guy. You mean the guy in the affidavit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's another guy that fits the profile better than him, and he has the same coat. There's a lot of stuff that he's hidden.
Sure.
And I know the people who know about it. And I wanted to see what
It's
the
been 5
years.
years.
Go through.
Yeah, then no, I agree with you. And
Yeah,
I haven't said he's the guy. Yeah, I didn't say he was the guy. If you watch the whole show, I said I just covered the affidavit like everybody else. Somehow people have an impression that I thought he was the guy.
I'm really sorry.
I'm sorry?
Call drop.
Okay. No
Well,
worries. Thank you for calling. Appreciate your insight.
So if you have any information about any crime, contact the local police with the department that it goes through, and they will happily take that. Let's see here.
There it is. Teresa just put it up, Josh, the tip
Okay,
line.
perfect. Let's see here. Nope, wrong one. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. People hang up really fast. I'm kind of surprised. Let's see. Are you there, caller?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Where are you calling from?
Michigan.
How you doing today?
So my question is right along the lines of what you were just talking about. So I was in Hawkins County, Tennessee, and I had a confrontation with a maroon Toyota Tacoma. And I have it all on video. And I've called TBI twice. I've called Sheriff Lawson, and I've left messages with Detective Pruitt and heard nothing. And it's been about 5 weeks since it happened.
Have you emailed it to them?
Yep.
You emailed it, you called, and you haven't received any calls back?
No.
And then here's another piece of advice. call TBI, ask for Director Dave Roush. Tell him you have information in the Summer Wells case and to have the case agent call you. He's the director of TBI. That should get everybody's attention. If he doesn't respond, which I know he will, but if he doesn't respond, then call your local FBI agent, your local FBI office in Indiana, where you are, and tell them you have information on the Summer Wells case.
Okay. A lot of people in your chat know who I am. A lot of people saw it. Well, okay. So Dave Roush, do I call the regular TBI number, the 800 number?
Yeah, just say I'd like the director's office, and then you're going to get the secretary, and then you tell the secretary what you just told YouTube.
Okay.
And then turn the information.
All right,
in.
perfect.
And I believe everybody's outing you as Scotty Skulls.
Yeah, everybody knows who I am.
Yeah,
I spent a week down there and filmed it and everything else. But yeah,
I saw your video. It was very interesting, the driving and the just showing the ruralness of the area. Very very cool, man. Well, thank you for doing that, and thanks for calling. Yeah, I can just imagine.
I'm trying to get heard, you know, and I took it down like when I was live, kind of when it happened, and I took it down, and I've been sitting on it, and I've been trying to get it to somebody, because if it's important, it needs to be looked at, and if it's not, at least tell me, right?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Exactly. No,
yeah.
We agree.
Well, thanks a lot. I be interested to hear if they get back to you.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, take care. Bye-bye. And so, yeah, once again, I mean, I can't imagine how backed up that police station in Hawkins County, or that sheriff's office in Hawkins County is. I bet they just get hammered all day long. And I mean, I understand why. I do. But at some point, it's just like, can be completely overwhelming. I mean, it's not like they have this huge organization with a bunch of people fielding calls. You know, I mean, they have emergencies to go out on. They have cases that they're trying to solve. It is just a very, you know, it's hectic. I know that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. I guess they're not on the air. It's pretty interesting how fast people hang up.
How fast they hang up?
Yeah, it starts like cycling, and then somebody ends up hanging up and then not staying on the line, and there's not a lot of patience here.
I mean, while we're waiting for a call, I mean,
I think there's somebody.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. They'll wait.
No, they're more important than me.
Oh, you're on the air. they just boop.
Post the number, please.
I've posted it for a while.
It's on a banner going by.
You know what?
Try that.
Let's just do it this way, because for some reason this seems to not be working. But give me 1 second here. Go ahead, Chris. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, what's happening, obviously, you know, the intensity of those investigations as quickly as they come on, and then when they start to slow down. Go ahead. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm not ready. Go ahead.
You calling me?
No.
The what goes on, obviously, for obvious reasons, is you know, they get a ton of information, a ton of overflow is what we used to call it, and then you have to sift through what's viable and what's you know, what's fantasy and what's hocus pocus.
There it is.
I love that song though.
Do you?
Sky. No,
I don't. Okay. I hate it.
Hey, there she is.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you just great. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. This is my first call ever.
Awesome.
I'm a bit nervous. I want to say first and foremost, Godspeed to both you and Chris. May God keep you and your families and protect you, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for your kindness.
Okay. Thank you. I did have a question. It's more of an opinion question, and I'd love to get both of your opinions. What do you make of Candace's absence of late, and maybe knowing her possible whereabouts? I did hear rumors that she was in Alabama, but again, don't know, and I guess technically it's none of our business. But what sort of sign would you take this as, her absence?
Yeah, I think somebody got in her ear that had some common sense, I guess, and was saying, you're making a dummy out of yourself by the way that you're acting, drinking, and going on and saying all these. That's just my opinion, but I think that she heeded the warning of somebody.
Well, it takes a very special person, it seems, to if that's true, and she's maybe making a turn for the better. That's great for her, and God bless the person who's doing that, if that's true. Let's hope so.
Yeah, I don't know. I always wish everybody well. I just don't know. I just don't know where she's at in her life, and from the year that we've spent talking about her, I don't see any betterment coming at the moment. Right now, I just think that she's tucked away with somebody that is taking care of her, and I mean that's her God-given right.
Do you think she's run away? If that's too harsh of a question, I understand.
Chris, I'll let you answer that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Josh.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know if she's run away. I know that she's running from something.
Yes.
And when we had her down at the water hole that day, and then the search and rescue showed up, it kind of threw her for a curveball because we literally turned the camera off, and she was just crying so uncontrollably, and I saw the same emotion at the water hole as I did the night she was intoxicated, where she reached over, to want to say, I want to tell them what happened. And she said that, remember?
I remember that.
So
you don't think that was an act for you? She was performing for you with the crying?
No, not at that moment. Well, now, did I, obviously I didn't, I gave her an Oscar for some of the other stuff, but at the same time, when you're looking into somebody's soul at that point, standing there at the water's edge, and they're looking right back at you, knowing that you think and she knows that you think and we just kind of clicked for a second, and then there was this curveball of the search and rescue, and she turned to me and she goes, "Did you call them?" And I said, "No, I didn't even know they were going to be here." And that was a true statement, and it always has been. In that moment, it was like the light switch came back on, and she went right into, the narrative.
So would that tell you that Summer maybe is possibly not coming back to us then? Most likely.
I don't know. I mean, Sid, I want to be hopeful as always.
I do too.
Personally.
She's the thief of my heart. And
yes.
As I know she is to so many. And, my husband and I weren't able to have children, and we would have given anything to have had a little angel like her. She's stolen our hearts. And we wouldn't know her but for the fact that this horrible thing happened to her. And we also wouldn't know so much of what's going on or what had gone on in her life, her short little life up to now, if it had not been for people like you, especially you, Chris, and to Josh as well. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
Thank you.
And I pray for all of you for your safety and for Summers as well. I still do have a thread of hope that she will be found safely somewhere.
Well, what a lovely caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Hang in
Thank you
there.
so much. Thank you for taking my call, and have a good evening.
very
And have a good evening in chat, everyone, and mods.
Thank you so much.
And I'm calling from Washington State, by
Washington
the way.
State.
Love Washington State.
Tri-Cities, Washington, although we're not native here. We're from the South, but we've lived in Washington State.
Well, you could have
for
fooled
quite a
me.
number of years.
There you go.
We sort of lived all over, but we're originally from sort of that area. My husband is from the Knoxville area, and I lived in Memphis, Tennessee. So that's where we're from. But we're in the great state of Washington.
Well, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, gentlemen, and God bless.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we'll roll right in here to the next call. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Josh, thank you for taking my call. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris and Josh.
Hi.
I have a question. I don't know if I can answer it or ask it, but actually I have two questions. I would like to know why a certain woman, a creator, I'll just say voices on the wall, told Don W. never tell anyone what Summer had on the last time you saw her. And the second question I have is Jody Sue standing in the pond with her feet to eliminate any evidence, so to speak. I don't know if that was the reason she did it, but and the dogs. Could Summer have trailed over there and gotten taken by a dog? Those are my three comments.
So the answer to your first question is I don't know what was said between that certain creator and DW. I know after a year of this stuff, it's really hard to know. I mean, when you say, Chris, so much has been said. So for me to speculate, I don't know why anybody would say that. I mean, there were people at the beginning that absolutely thought that Don was a saint and that he was trying his best. I don't think that was ever the case. But so there were people on his side very early on in the case. If you've noticed now, almost everybody has turned on Don in one way, shape, or another from his actions. Now, and to be honest with you, I also don't know about the Jody Sue standing in the water. I really don't. I mean, I've heard rumblings of it, but none of that stuff to me is factual that I know of. I mean, it's just a lot of it is hearsay, a lot of it is conjecture, and a lot of it I would feel stupid speculating on. I'm sure Chris would probably feel the same way.
She said it herself.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I haven't heard it, and so I'd have to hear it in context, and then I could give you a better. And I will. I'll take a look at it. I just haven't heard it.
Thank you.
I find that odd, but what isn't odd in this case, unfortunately. So, anything you want to add there, Chris?
No, I think you answered it appropriately.
Well, why don't you say hi to Chris since you're on the line here?
Hi.
Hello, Chris.
How are you?
It's to hear your voice.
It's great to hear yours, and thank you so much for that. For those comments and that question. I think Josh answered it expertly.
Yes,
that's a word.
and thank you for all your work.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then
Thank
I
you.
wanted to add something about Don W. saying I'll see her in the resurrection.
Well, there's something we can speak on.
About it that he has to get there too to see her.
Yeah, amen to that. Right? Good. That's a good statement.
Exactly. I don't want to accuse anybody. This is
But what
but it's a comment.
But what an
I've
odd thing to
thought about.
say. That's an absolutely odd thing for any parent to say, though. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, in his mind, he might have thought if she's taken by someone and raised under an unhealthy atmosphere, he was hoping that she would go more or less of a holier way, and he was hoping he would see her in the resurrection. But the way he said it, I translated in my mind, well, Donald, you have to make it to the resurrection in order to see her.
Right.
And I know from he does have some Bible knowledge. That is a fact. But, I just know that he does have some knowledge. And he's learned it through the years, through the Mormons and the other church. I forget what I
think it's
the name of it is, but
Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah, they have a pamphlet about missing children and a game they play, hide and go seek. That's a fact. You can call them and ask them for the pamphlet. That it's an exercise they do for missing children. I found that kind of strange also. So
yeah, I understand that.
Well,
thank you for calling.
Well, thank you, and I'm sorry to hear about Jose. If he has passed away, my condolences to a lost soul.
Yeah, absolutely, and yes, absolutely. You're 100% right. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
And let's see here.
That was a really interesting comment she just made.
Yeah.
Hide and seek. It's interesting because the boys told somebody that I know firsthand. Remember that one of the boys said we were playing hide and seek.
Yep.
And I related that to outside, a game outside. But I wonder if it's correlated to what she just said. That caller may have just given us another clue.
I had heard that was something. I've heard that as well, but she's right. It is an absolute real thing that for some reason. But yeah, the hide and go seek theory. It might run a little deeper than we know. Caller, you're on the air. Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, I'm calling from. Oh, I'm getting an echo. Can you hear me?
I can now. Yeah. Where are you from?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Go Steelers.
That's right. Hi, Chris. Hi, Josh.
Hi. How are you?
Penguins.
Yeah, they did pretty good.
Yeah, they're all right.
Chris, I enjoy your camping stories. I'm a camper too. Be going there Memorial Day weekend. But something last week, I've been following you with the whole Summer Wells case. I wasn't like a big YouTube watcher, but of course my kids are, and now I'm hooked, especially on you guys. I was watching last week, though. Do you guys remember the movie Gone, Baby Gone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do.
That quick. It was the mom was a wreck, and then the little girl was stolen.
Yeah.
That was, and then she comes back at the end. I was just watching that the other day, and it was one of those heartstrings where I hope she ends up in the end okay, but the end of Gone Baby Gone, they gave her back to her mother, and that was a waste. But I just wanted to call in and say, I really enjoy you guys, and you're always clean. My daughters can listen in when I'm listening, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. It's something that I've worked on personally, and it seems to that people do appreciate it. And I had never really thought about if there were kids in the room listening, and until later on when I started to kind of understand the demographic, who's listening. A lot of people are watching their grandkids and their kids while they're, at home, taking care of those kids. So obviously, it is helpful if you can walk away and not have to worry about somebody, screaming and cussing. And so I felt that was a really good a move. And Chris, I he's an angel, so he's never.
Nice try, right?
Yeah,
that was a hip check. Go ahead.
My kids have heard swear words. I can't say that, but I mean, just how the lightness of the seriousness that we're talking about is also appreciated.
Totally agree, 100%.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Not sheltering my kids, but again, it's not. There's no in-depth everything's kind of high level.
So I used to have I had a philosophy when I would put a new rookie in the car with me or something when I was on the street, and I would tell them, if you can't control your tongue, how are you going to control your finger when the time is right? And
right.
And, I've always tried to live by that philosophy that, if you can't control what comes out of your mouth, and it just drives me crazy to no end to see some of these, folks on the street just cussing at the citizenry, at the citizens. It's like, why are you doing that? It lowers our profession and, the professional standards that we should be, officers should, they should display that into the public because the public deserves it. And if you can't control that up here, this, as they say, the tongue is as sharp as a two-edged sword. And that's a true statement. And, you just wonder then when you pull your gun, if you can't, what's the urge into that? So that's just my philosophy. It's my own opinion. Some people call me a prima donna or, the other things, whatever. I could care less because I try to hold myself to a higher standard because, I think people deserve it.
Right. And I'm a separation civil service. We have firefighters in my family, and,
there you go.
Policemen are role models, so.
I mean, it's amazing when little kids come up to you back in the day anyway, and they wanted to emulate the career. I don't know if that's happening anymore, other than firefighters, though. But you know why God made cops, right?
Why?
So firefighters have somebody to look up to. I can't believe you gave me that much room.
We know a couple officers, but my grandpa, dad, brother, all firemen.
Incoming dad joke. 3, 2,
1. Here they come. Well, civil service is it's necessary, and we saw that with that Border Patrol agent and how he threw his life on the line, and the horrific events there. So, and that's another show, but those are the kind of things where you say, okay, now's the time to step up. And those are the folks that I'm so grateful are still in the profession and in the career. And we got a lot of great law enforcement folks, firefighters, nurses, doctors, lawyers, believe it or not. The civil servants, they don't get enough of, hey, thank you, in today's world today. So But we saw it in action, and thank you so much for your kindness and your thoughts on that as well.
No, thanks. I appreciate you. And we're just going to have one little hello from the daughter. Say hi, Jules.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Who's this?
Good.
Hi,
My
how
daughter.
are you? Nice to meet you.
The world needs firefighters.
Thanks for getting become a fire. You can do, as the mind of man conceives and believes, the mind of man achieves, or the mind of woman. You girls are smarter than us guys, that's for sure.
I didn't know you
go for it.
Spanish, Chris?
Yeah, I know enough Spanish to get me in trouble.
Bilingual. I'm very
yeah. Lave sus manos. So.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
You
Thanks.
Adios. It's a quick one there. Love that.
Adios.
Adios. Let's see here. Let's take another call here. Speaker. Caller, you're on the air. Where are you calling from?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Well, now, are you a Darius Ruckers fan?
I've seen Darius when he was with the Blowfish, yes.
Oh, man.
And my daughter played his daughter in volleyball. So, yeah.
So, kind of a fan here. See, I How you doing tonight? What's on your mind?
I'm good. So, I actually had found, and I've asked a couple of creators, no one really knows, and I know Chris might have an idea about this. After the 9/11, the Central Intelligence DCI had the capability, if law enforcement requested the satellite imaging of a territory, they could provide it during a certain time frame. And I just wondered if this was something, I know with the terrain and whatnot, but the roads would be easily viewed with satellite. If this was something that was requested for that time frame, days leading up to and after, to see who may have gone in and out of Ben Hill Road.
So, Josh, you want me to take this?
Yes, please. I don't know anything about satellite imaging.
Okay, no problem. So there is an office in the federal government, and it's the National Counterterrorism Center, and it's called NCTC. They run under the Patriot Act for various situations that you're talking about, for counterintelligence, satellites, that kind of stuff. And there's also another offshoot where satellites can be utilized. The challenge that local law enforcement has is the access to that data in relationship to local crimes. Typically, it has to be a federal situation, like on a federal installation, like a military base, anything connected to the federal government. So because you have to go to a federal judge and get a warrant, i.e. a FISA warrant, for an example. And then in that warrant, you can request, cell phone data, any type of forensics data, and including satellite data. Okay. Now, there are others, companies out there that brokerage this stuff, and they sell it to private firms. So to answer your question, to try to get hold of satellite data, it would be faster, quite frankly, to go to Google Earth and cross your fingers that when the car was going down the road with the cameras going, it caught something, because it would really be very, very hard to get that data. But so that's why they rely primarily on cell phones and that kind of stuff. And there's some great companies out there that can provide that under the guise of a search warrant.
Now, are you
Thank
talking
you.
about?
I kind of wondered.
Are you talking about imaging from that day specifically? Is that what you mean?
Yes, I know when when I found this and I went to one of those sites Chris was just speaking of, you literally can put in the area and the time frame that you want. Now, whether it's really going to be June 15th, 3 o'clock, 110 Ben Hill Road, I don't know. The imaging is grainy. You can't see much on my laptop, but in reading the deposition that was given in 96, it was saying that this would be something that would be put out there for local law enforcement to utilize if they needed it for anything. They just needed to give permission and request the images that were taken, because apparently the satellites go around and snap, constantly. But again, like Chris said, it would have to be right at that time, but at this point, it's just so sad. I do have to say that the first thing I ever saw was in the end of June, 1st July. I saw the thumbnail of Summer's face, and it was on Chris's channel. And I watched it, and I've been watching ever since. And Lab, you came into the picture, and the two of you, I appreciate everything you do. Simplify and
thank you.
Take care of yourselves.
Thank you for your service. Where
everything.
were you? Were you a Hollywood Marine, or your family, or where were you?
My father was Paris Island,
Awesome.
21 years. I was born November 10th. So you'd think he would have loved me best, but I was more like him. So no, that didn't happen. I'm a nurse, and my father's passed, but my father was in 21 years.
God
So
bless you. There you
he
go.
was, well, thank you. And again, y'all take care, and everybody listening in chat, take care. Love your kids.
Yes.
Crazy stuff in this world, I swear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling. We
Take
appreciate
care.
it. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Another great caller. I mean, why not? Why we're on a roll? Why not rattle off another one? Let's
Keep
do it.
going.
Excellent callers. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Josh. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Where are you calling from?
Boston, Mass.
All right.
And so, hi, Chris.
Hi. How are
Chris,
you?
this is actually a procedural question for you.
Okay, hit me.
Hi to you. On Sunday, you did a really nice job on the affidavit when you went through all the pages that had come out on the Delphi case, or at least on that RL, the Logan me. And there was a lot of information like on that affidavit or search warrant. And I wanted to pick your brain a little bit. It might be kind of self-explanatory, but why would, with all the things they were looking at and so many, I guess, coincidences, maybe not coincidences, why that Logan guy wouldn't have been arrested within the last 4 years if that search warrant was 4 years ago? Is there a reason that they could have enough evidence but not enough evidence, or was he cleared?
Well, that's a great question, and there's a high probability that they moved past him.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because it sounded when you went through everything, but then I found out it was an older document. Is that correct? I believe.
Yeah, it was right at like a month after the murders.
Exactly, and there was so many strange coincidences, and you say there are none a lot of times, and also even the first 15 tips you said, I believe, within the first 15 tips is usually can be a suspect or a person of interest.
Right. And
what do you think about the father-son with the child P that in the house, but yet they have not released anything, nor do we know if there's any connection whatsoever? There was a father and son. The son's already in jail for possessing child.
P.
I don't want to say the word on YouTube.
Yep. No, I get it. I think they're still in play, right? I think, right now there's a whole bunch of folks that they're looking at pretty significantly. And the good news is it sounds like the investigation's still moving. So
Correct.
What part of Beantown are you in?
You had mentioned your family is from South Boston originally.
Yeah, my grandmother lived
family
in.
is also Charlestown originally.
Okay, so one of my closest friends is the number 2 at.
Some of them.
Okay, I know where you're at. One of my closest friends is the number 2 at Boston PD. Superintendent Gerard Bailey. Rardy, we're giving you a shout out tonight. Yeah, at night he runs the city.
Give them a shout out.
Ha ha.
I think we have one of the best police departments in the country, to be honest.
Yeah, no, he's
They run the
the
highway
number
early
2.
and don't do a lot of the stuff. They don't make a lot of mistakes now. There's a lot of cleanup and a lot of training, I think, that was done
There
through
you
the
go.
80s.
Are you talking about the Whitey Bulger era?
We're going to leave that one alone.
One of my
I
favorite
mean more through
stories.
the Chuck Stewart times.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of cleanup was done.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. Yeah, my grandmother lived
That's
in
a great case.
across from Carson Beach in the high rise. So right up from Castle Island.
We can't afford to live in South Boston anymore or Charleston.
No, all my cousins are back there. So there you go.
They're still there. They're holding on to some serious property.
Well,
it's into the millions now. Imagine.
No, it's crazy.
People couldn't wait to leave, and now people waiting to pay millions of dollars for those 3-deckers. So it's quite the. But this isn't a call-in show about real estate. So, but thank you for telling me about what your thoughts were on that case, because that kind of got to me the other night. He sounded like such a almost too perfect suspect.
Yeah. It was a fantastic show, Chris. It really was the way that you covered it, but it's just such an odd thing to leak. Especially, I don't know. It's terrible.
There's more coming. There's more coming. I've got Greg Cooper coming on in a couple of weeks, and he just finished adding a couple more chapters to his book, Predators. And he's going to weigh in. I talked to him today, and he's going to come on the show. And for those of you that don't know Greg, he ran the behavior science unit after John Douglas. So Greg he's the man, and he's the executive director of the Cold Case Foundation. Anyway, he wants to weigh in on that affidavit in his opinion. So, well, that's going to be an interesting show coming up pretty soon.
All right, caller.
Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you.
It's nice
and
talking to you.
Making a connection to Beantown.
Yep.
Go Red Sox.
Go Bruins.
Aren't they in last place?
I don't know. I just know you like baseball, so I said, let's go Red Sox.
Well, they are.
It's baseball season right now. And Fenway is a landmark, so we're very proud people out here. Christmas.
I miss Carl Yastrzemski.
Yeah, well, you should, especially this
number 8, buddy. Number 8.
About it. We'll just stick up for it no matter what.
Well, thank you so much for calling.
All right, take care. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Boston. Shout out from Boston. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Did I make it?
You made it in a big way.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Ask Chris if he has any updates on the Rose Bly case.
Yes. I talked to the detective who's working the case. He's frustrated that YouTube has been throwing false information out there. And they are focusing on somebody. They're not going to reveal who it is. but I'm hoping I can get the sheriff to come on. We have a call into his office again today. But I spoke to the lead investigator about 4 or 5 days ago, and he gave me permission to say what I just said. So
awesome. I mean, that's great news that it's moving forward.
Exactly.
Yes. That's all I had. Thank you, guys.
Well, that's it. What's your favorite baseball team? Are they in last place too?
What? What's baseball?
What's baseball? That's true. Good.
Go Cowboys.
Oh, even worse.
What team? I missed it.
Cowboys.
Oh yeah, Dallas. There you go.
Well, we had our moment.
How about the Rough Riders? They're just outside of you. In Frisco.
Who is that?
That's the minor league team.
It's the minor league team, and it's a good show to watch.
There you go.
I know the River Cats. That's all I know.
Yeah. Is that a tennis team?
Yeah, they play tennis on the weekends. Matter of fact, they play tennis with the opposite hand, so it's more competitive. So if you're left-handed, you have to play right-handed. If you're right-handed, you have to play left-handed. You know, it's just the whole thing. So go tennis, go hockey. You've referenced hockey twice already on this show, and
Sorry.
well, as long as you apologize, all right. Thank you so much for calling, caller.
Avalanche.
That's 3.
Well, no, that's Elisa. She put that on there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, caller? Where are you calling from?
Southeast Kentucky.
Oh, okay. The home of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh yeah, it is Corbin.
Very good.
All right.
What can I do for you?
I got a couple of questions. Was like if Summer was seen on the Walgreens video surveillance, and what do you think of this about Jose supposedly, being found dead?
Well, so Chris, I'll first the Summer being seen on camera. I don't know, and maybe Chris can attest to it, but I don't know if she was. I know that the car was. I know that Candace was. I don't know if they could see who was all in the car or not. That's just something that they're not saying. They're not confirming. Now it's believed that she was, if the accounts of the day up until that point are correct, before the lying or the deception starts. And so, I mean, Hunter puts her in the car. You have Candace puts her in the car, and you have Allie. So the thought is that she was in there, but there's no actual video confirmation that the public has seen that puts her in that car, if that answers your question.
Yeah, that does.
Okay. And Chris, I think that, you and I have had that conversation, and that
right
was
on target.
That was pretty much the gist of it. And the second part, I believe that, and I don't want to step out too far out of my lane or anything like that, but I do believe that I have received confirmation. And I, nothing's ever 100%, but it sounds like, and it sounds like that unless that a Jose Roman has passed. And so, I feel sorry for anybody that gets thrown into the YouTube arena, not knowing exactly what can take place here. There's a lot of people that are harsh. They're mean,
vindictive,
judgmental, all kinds of stuff. And you know, the reason, and Chris, you know, I'll speak for both of us here, is that the reason when Chris and I spoke to Jose, it was because he was being relentlessly attacked constantly.
Yeah.
And
he was.
he wanted to clear his name of the things that people were accusing him of being. He was desperate. He was upset. And we vetted him and we ran checks on him to the best of our ability. And what he was saying seemed to, you know, at least where, you know, people were accusing him of being an RSO and things like that. We never found anything to suggest that he was. He was very honest about his criminal history. And he was very honest about the fact that, you know, he wasn't a perfect person and that he was trying to get better. And so if the reports are correct, and I believe they are, but like I said, I'll have 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out, but I do believe the information is true personally. It is a tragic ending to an already sad, at times a very sad existence. I mean, it's just, some people just have it so rough, whether it comes from them or whether life has dealt you blows. It happens both ways. You know, I enjoyed speaking with him the couple times that I did. I thought that he was trying, but I didn't know him personally at all. So it is kind of hard for me to say and speculate. I don't know if he has passed how or anything like that. And that will be interesting to find out, but it's just, you know, life is life. It's tough, man. What do you got to say, Chris?
Well, you know, let's wait to see what the officials say. I mean, I talked to him a while ago, got him, you know, focused on getting into Father Joe's. It's a homeless shelter down in San Diego. That's where he was. And, you know, when he called, like Josh just said, you know, he wanted to please, you know, have us validate that he wasn't the guy that was being floated around. And, you know, we tried. I mean, I talked to him at length for hours. I know other creators had it as well and helped him. And, you know, I think he's a reflection of a person who wanted to do right and do good. And when we find out what the officials say in relationship to his passing, if that's accurate, which it sounds like it is, but we won't know that for sure until the family comes out and says, yes, Jose is no longer with us. But if, you know, that's the case, we have to just deal with it that way and, you know, may rest in peace. And he was trying to get his life back in order and move forward. And he's the only one that gave us a true color. And I love that. True color is just, when the universe is on schedule, when I said that, it said, you know, you popped that up and I saw that in the chat and then you popped it up.
Pretty amazing.
You know, that he's in a at peace, at peace within his heart and within this world. You know, God knows there's enough.
Yeah,
this is why I always preach on my channel, and that's why I love Josh's channel and Josh as a person. We have enough pain and suffering in this world, and you know the events of this week and now him. You know, we can do better by getting along with each other. You know, throw the other stuff out the window and let's just become, you know, good people to each other. It doesn't matter who we are or what we are. It matters what we can do for the person next to us and vice versa. I mean, we all have these Gethsemanes in our lives. I know I certainly do. I mean, with this shooting, I immediately reflected back on my own life and other things. So we've all been there, and let's pray that his family's at peace tonight as well, and keep them in our hearts.
And beautifully said, Chris. Also, I do want to say that Jose painted a picture of what life was like. It seemed to match up exactly the way that had been reported on by many other people. And he really humanized the children, Summer, the way that he talked about them, the way that he knew their names, where each one of them stayed in the house, talking about, he just, right or wrong, good or bad, he gave us a peek inside of that house and what it was like to live with those children, more than the parents ever have or ever probably will. And forever, I will be grateful for him for doing that for us. And, people can have their own opinion if whatever they feel. In my heart, I felt that he was being, that he actually cared about the kids and things like that. What a tragic story to even have to be a part of. Even just from he wasn't there when Summer went missing, yet people were still calling him a suspect and this and that. And I remember I even have the clip when the 3 days after he did that interview, his very first interview, and the internet went crazy. I remember saying he has no idea what he has done because the internet is ruthless. And him and I had that conversation after the fact. It's just stuff you don't expect to happens. And it took a lot out of him. I mean, he desperately wanted to get in touch with Chris and to try to
vindicate him.
Yeah. And it was tragic. I felt awful for the guy. And so, people can have their own opinions about him. I have my own opinion about him. And that's, if he indeed is passing, I believe that he is, may he finally be at peace wherever, and whenever, he just, when they lay him down, I was very sad to hear. He seemed like a nice enough guy, and there will be people that just sit back and go, you know what? He didn't do enough. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. Well, we have all been in situations where we should have done more and we didn't, for whatever reason that was. And it's tragic, but I do appreciate your call, and thank you so much for the great questions.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Thanks for the great answers.
All right. You have a nice night.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, you too, bud.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Take a few more of these. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
What can I do for you?
I'm from Panama City Beach, Florida, only about 20 minutes away from Destin. And I heard Chris mention they love Destin. It's a beautiful place. Okay, so I just want to thank you for the way you have handled these cases, you and Chris both, and that you're not accusatory, because it's pretty detrimental. My sister-in-law was murdered by Otis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas. I'm not sure if y'all know who that is.
Who was the name? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch
Henry Lee.
Oh, Henry Lee Lucas.
Toole, which is Right, which is the same person that murdered Adam Walsh
Yeah. Oh, you mean, well,
in a little town called Boniface, Florida.
yeah, Ollie is what did Walsh. Lucas confessed to hundreds of murders,
Right.
but they weren't necessarily all confirmed out of Texas.
Yes, he did, and I actually went to trial in Marianna, Florida, when he entered his plea for the murder of my sister-in-law and the sheriff in Jackson County, McDaniel. So anyway, long story short, we have experienced a true tragedy in our family.
I'm so sorry
My
to hear
brother,
that.
3.5 years, was interrogated weekly. Volunteered. That's why I don't understand this Wells case. It don't matter where he was. He lost his home. He lost his job. He lost everything he had because there were no suspects. But he cooperated.
You mean Don?
No, I'm talking about my brother.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I'm talking about the Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole trial. My sister-in-law was murdered by them.
Yes, I got that.
And so and I am talking about the Summer Wells case too, because they interrogated him. He worked offshore. They would say, "We need to talk to you tomorrow." They would fly him in on the helicopter. He lost his home and he lost his job, but he wouldn't stop. He wanted to find her killer, and I don't understand the Wells. This is their child. This was only his wife.
Right. Well,
and so
that's a conversation that we've had, and unfortunately, every department. Well, I don't say unfortunately. It's just how it works. Every department has their own way that they go about it, right or wrong. I personally am very surprised that they weren't yanked in a lot more than they were. But the detectives say that they were in constant communication at the very beginning, and obviously that communication has now gone away.
Yes.
And it's not uncommon for people to want to cooperate at first until things don't really start panning out for them. And I don't think that it's by accident that they've just completely stopped talking to folks.
Oh, I don't either. And, in relationship to their case, our case in this little town called Boniface, Florida, was just like theirs. An investigator wasn't even heard of. They had deputies, and they worked day and night. But FDLE was brought in, and once FDLE was brought in, they questioned everybody. They did it weekly. They did it every 2 weeks. At any point in time, he could have just said, enough. That's what normal people cooperate. You have nothing to hide, you cooperate. He wanted her murderer found. And it was 7 years. And for 7 years, he was tormented, but it was worth it.
And they solved the case?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, well, see, and that is fantastic that it went that way. But let me tell you, the difference here is they don't want to find out who's involved because it probably points right back to them at every step and turn. So obviously we can sit back and go, well, why aren't they cooperating anymore? Well, probably fear of implication. Why do you think that Candace hasn't turned on Dawn? If she could have, she very well would have. Okay. But any implication that has to do with Dawn is also going to implicate Candace. I think we have a better chance the other way. I think that there could be leverage maybe waiting to be put on from the other side, but it's not going to come from Candace. It's just not. And Chris has said this before, that she is a master manipulator. She is.
She is.
She knows how to turn it
well,
on.
My brother was the my brother was the number one suspect. He's the one that found her. He's the one that took her to the hospital. She was shot in the floor in the house. They lived rurally. There was nothing to indicate anybody else. And his life was, for 7 years, was literal hell that he never quit cooperating.
You're right. Well,
And that's the difference.
And that's what a normal human who even that loves somebody would want to happen. I mean, if Dawn and Candace truly thought that Summer was abducted, if they've sure gone about it a funny way, I'll tell you that right now, because that would implicate that, or that would indicate that, you know, she was alive and taken. Well, if I thought that my child was out there, and not just me, I think this is the human race, like 99% of us. If I thought that my child was out there alive and missing, even not alive, it wouldn't matter. You're out there, you're pounding pavement, you're banging on doors, you're doing whatever you can. We've seen none of that. What say you, Chris?
I agree with 100% of everything you've said, of everything the caller said. I'm sorry that your family went through all of that, but I'm really happy that your brother had the wherewithal to stay the course. And both Otis and Lucas, you know, there were some bad characters, and you know, they became friends, like you said, you know, and Otis was responsible for Adam Walsh, you know, killing him. And so I'm to see the actions of these parents, like you're talking about, in my opinion,
it's inexcusable. It's not understandable. Like I said, it was just, as people would say, my brother's wife. It wasn't his child. You don't need to say just. When you love somebody, you're going to lay down what you're doing if somebody has murdered a family member at all costs. I mean, you just do.
Yeah, there you go.
They're not normal people. They're just not. Even her mother and daddy thought that my brother killed her, and that was hard for him. That was hard.
Sure.
But in the end, you know, they were wrong, but he forgave them. That was their daughter. They wanted justice. It didn't matter who was taken down. So, you know, this is just not normal what they're doing. It doesn't. Yeah, I know it's a small sheriff's department. We had one too. You have to look it up on the map and see where Boniface, Florida is. And they just didn't even know what an investigator was, you know. But FDLE stepped in and they did a good job. And it did take years to resolve it, which ruined a lot of people, ruined a lot of family members, and ruined a lot of reputations. But everybody was willing to put their reputation at stake. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you said there shows compassion and love and being a normal human, even though you're accused of something so heinous. The first is to find out who did it. And then obviously once you do that, he knows that he didn't do it. It clears his name. And
yes,
that even though that took a chunk of his life, and I'm sure it was humiliating and infuriating, and everything, justice was served, and sometimes there is collateral damage along the way. It's a terrible thing that he had to go through. But whenever somebody, even in Summer's case, even in everybody's case, when somebody goes missing or somebody is hurt, they look inside the inside circle first and then move out.
Sure.
That's just how it is. Chris, would you interview the family first?
Yeah, I mean, you that's homicide 101.
101. First day stuff.
Yeah.
Control the scene.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
It's so amazing the difference of what they've done there and the way. The evening this happened, after he got her to the hospital, and then the sheriff's department got out there, he was not even allowed back in his home for 2 weeks, not even to get a change of clothes.
Right.
So I think some things with this in Hawkins County probably hasn't been handled exactly right, but I understand the rural atmosphere because it was kind of in the reverse for us. That it was like almost too serious. We know he did it, and he can't even come in this house and get clothes, and it was difficult, even though everybody was cooperating. So for Candace and Don to do the way they have done, they have some form of guilt.
Yeah, and actual court and the court of public opinion are two different things, and both of them can ruin your life.
Absolutely, it did my brother.
Yeah, and sometimes both, together they can do that, and that's a terrible thing because, I don't know the evidence in the case, that you're talking about, but I do know what evidence is out there in this case and the way that people act, and none of that adds up. What they say, what they do, how they go about stuff. But yeah, I mean,
well, the evidence in our case is there was none.
Right.
There was none. He drove up. He opened the door. She's laying on the floor. He takes her to the hospital. She's dead on arrival, and from there, it was no breaking and entering, no nothing. She went into the house, and they followed her in the house. They were there in the yard. So it was nothing.
Wow.
So of course they were looking at him,
like you said, that's standard.
Nothing stole. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Josh.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. I mean, unfortunately, it's standard. In every way, shape, and form. You secure the house, you secure the scene, and you say, hey, we need to go talk. And obviously, that's how those investigations start. And sometimes, I remember the Scott Peterson, everybody was kind of with him until he refused to take a lie detector. And then people were like, well, that's not cool. He should probably be taking a lie detector test if his wife was missing and he had nothing to do with it. Well, now you have the court of public opinion on you, and the police are going, well, why won't he take this polygraph? It's not. So, and then it just turned into an avalanche. I mean, Scott Peterson did not cooperate. And then they found out, obviously, that he had a mistress, that he was, and the story goes on and on and on. But yeah, that's how those things happen. Yeah. Scott was obviously on their radar right away, but like, well, why don't you take a polygraph? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Why not, Scott? Don't you want to clear yourself? Well, so.
I guess my point in case was, the collateral damage is the same whether you cooperate or you don't cooperate until someone is found. But public opinion changes if you cooperate.
I agree.
And really for law enforcement, it does too.
Absolutely. I mean, Chris, you know more about that than anybody.
Well, I tell you what, we're in a transition. I think law enforcement's in a huge transition. And the more and more,
absolutely,
because of the social media aspect of everything. I mean, we are we're seeing things today that, you talk to a witness and 5 minutes later they're texting what they said to the cops, and
he actually went on in life to change his career to be a corrections officer at the local prison.
There you go.
And he has just retired from the sheriff's department. So even though all he went through, there was never any ill will. He always felt, even though he was the target, that everybody was doing their job.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and
thank y'all for taking my call, and thank y'all for being honest and not just putting rumors out and hearsay out, because that's what's so important. So important.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story with us, and it really does put things into perspective. So thank you so much for the call.
And thank you.
Aloha.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Josh, for what you do.
Thank you.
Yes,
Take
ma'am. Thank you.
Whoa. Wow. This is quite the ring. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Where are you calling from?
South Bend, Indiana.
Sorry, say that again.
Hold on.
It's all right.
South Bend, Indiana.
South
Sorry.
Bend, Indiana. Very good. What can we do for you?
Well, hi, Josh. Hi, Chris. How you guys doing?
Doing
well.
good. Thank you.
So I have a question. Someone said that they had saw Summer, the tree trimmer guys. I was wondering, is that true? Or has that been proven, or was that just something somebody said?
I'm under the impression that there were tree trimmers, but that there was nothing substantial to come from that. Is that your understanding, Chris?
Yeah, my understanding is, there's a couple of things out there that may or may not be rumors. One is the tree trimmer story. The other one is there was a trail cam where she was allegedly seen on the trail cam. I don't know if those are viable leads or information or if they're accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, I have another question about the Delphi murders. Would you take the clients off the table, or would you still have them on the table?
I'd still have them on the table.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that too. All right. This is True Crime and Other Stuff. I just wanted to say hi, and I'm a long-time listener, but first-time caller.
Well, thank you so much. The thing with the Kleins is that they did have some sort of social media connection. It would be extremely hard to take them off the table until you find out for certain who did this, because they're, first of all, those two, especially the boy Keegan, is a danger. He needs to be locked up. The charges that are,
the father's no better either.
I agree. And so, I don't think that you could ever take those two off the table until the case is solved and the evidence is overwhelming towards another suspect or suspects. That's just my opinion.
Right. And I thought from the very beginning it had something to do with social media or something like that. And everybody was always saying no, no, no. And I'm like, I don't know. And now it's come out that there was contact with them. So.
Yeah, it's just one of the, it has turned into another kind of feeding frenzy, the media feeding frenzy and speculation, left and right and center. But nonetheless, another case that has captivated everybody. And for some,
I'm from Indiana, so yeah.
Oh yeah, so you know everything. You know about what is crazy about that case is that you have video of the suspect, you have audio of the suspect, and it's been 5 years. Crimes get solved with less all the time. And I'm not saying anything about the police department. I believe that they work this thing diligently every single day, that it is their number one goal to solve this, and God bless the work that they're doing. But it is odd in the fact that you have video of the main suspect that they basically, and Chris, if I'm wrong here, they think that whoever that bridge guy is, that's the guy. That's the theory, right? I mean, that's the guy. But the problem is, who's the guy? But you can see him walking. You can't see his face. You can see he's wearing boots. You can see he's wearing a jacket. It sounds like you even hear his voice, you know. And so, what a strange case. And I think that kind of separates it from a lot of other cases, is the amount of information that is out there, yet there's still no definitive answers.
Still 5 years, yep.
So I think it's absolutely tragic, though, nonetheless. And but I thank you for your call and appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. I wanted to say thanks to your mods, too. They rock.
They're fantastic mods, aren't they?
Yes.
We're very fortunate. Like I said, we have some crossover mods, and I'm sure that we'll be crossing over some more because they're just the best. And as channels grow, that's how it works, you know. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I got 100 subscribers. I'm happy.
Well, congratulations. That's good.
Yeah.
Started with one. Keep going.
It definitely did.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Chris and Josh, thanks for talking to me. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Mm.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, I'm so happy I got through.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I guess I just have a question for you guys. Do you think psychics have anything to do with helping find these, killers or murderers?
So I personally, no, I don't.
Okay.
Now, maybe I just don't understand it. And I'm not really, it's not something that I've ever really looked into. I mean, I know that there is a huge psychic community, medium community. Somebody's going to get mad at me because say a psychic's not a medium and a medium's not a psychic. I don't know. I don't know about any of that. But I've always found that there were just too many rules. That was just me. Like, oh, well, hey, it's not I can only do it on this day or this time, or I can only give you so much of information here. I've always found that there was just too many rules with it. But I don't know. I mean, I believe in the supernatural though. So who knows? I believe in angels and demons and things like that. I don't know. Chris, you probably feel close to the same as me, but I couldn't tell you. Asking the wrong guy.
So I have a coffee cup. It's called McRockpile. And I earned that coffee cup because for some reason, I guess I have the personality that, my superiors would come to me and say, hey, guess what you get to do? And I'm like, okay. So anyway, there's a area in San Diego called Harmony Grove. If you've never heard of it, look it up. It's a spiritualistic association. And the gal that used to run it was a woman by the name of Rosemary Kerr, Kerr. Her husband's name was Jim, and he was a firefighter, and she was an amazing human being. Rosemary one time had a case where she was asked to do a reading for a family out of Louisiana. And while on the phone with the family, she told it was the daughter calling about her mom who was missing. And she said, I need you to hang up the phone now and immediately call the police and tell them to go to this intersection. And she gave the intersection. And the daughter hung up the phone, did it, called the cops. The cops went down there and they had an officer just happened to be in the area. And lo and behold, her mother's truck went by. They stopped the vehicle, and her mother was deceased in the back of the truck, and they caught the two guys. Now, what does that mean? Right? When you're standing in front of the lady that did that, and then she's telling you to dig up a pile of rocks, you know, and look underneath it for somebody. That's why I earned the cup. Okay. So do I believe that people have spiritual gifts? Absolutely. Do I understand them? No way.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Yeah, and would I be a less of an investigator if I shut them off? Yeah, probably, because you just don't know. You just don't know. And you know, I'll let a little secret out here on Josh's show. Early on in a case, I talked to Donna from the Lori Vallow case. She had actually called me and on behalf of Andy in the Morphew case. And I asked her if she knew who Rosemary Kerr was. And she said, yeah, she was one of my mentors. And I asked her, I said, are you in Harmony Grove? And she started laughing. It's like, what are you, a psychic? You know? And I was like, no, I'm just asking you, is this where you're at? And she goes, yeah, how do you know about that? And I said, it's a long story, but I'm very familiar with, you know, where you're at, who you're at, and what you're at. And now, do I know if these people have gifts? I have no idea. I have no idea. Do I listen? You know, the old saying is, you know, who's the fool himself or the fool who follows? If I don't listen, then I could be in left case or left field. But if I do listen, I could be in right field. So the problem is sometimes individuals take information provided into the public, and then they turn it around and provide it into the investigation, and you can really get stuck in a lot of rabbit holes. So I've always learned to be cautious, but you know, disciplined.
Yeah, I mean,
thank you.
I hope that answers your question. You know, like I said, I'm not. First of all, I'm kind of scared of the supernatural, just in general, like the whole, you know, the Conjuring.
Unless they have a corn dog.
Well,
in their
look,
hand.
man, you didn't. I mean,
like
just
the Star Wars. You know, what is the laser?
Vroom,
If they
vroom.
come from the other side with a corn dog, Josh is like, I hear you. I'm coming. I hear you. I'm coming.
I'm gonna haunt you with a corn dog, and and there's corn dog here come the corn dog emojis,
Here
Chris.
they come. Blow them up there, everybody. Lab rats. Put some corn dogs up there for him because he's seeing spirits with corn dogs.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Well, look, if a spirit shows up with a box of corn dogs, we can hang out, and we can talk cases.
It's
keep
just
keep the corn dogs coming. But if
it's
they
your
show
magic wand, your corn dog is your magic wand. Okay, that's an expectation now. We have to see this.
I will forever regret not turning my camera off while crushing those corn dogs in the way only my dog should have been able to see. But he's right. I was double fisting him. I was playing air drums. Bow, boom, ba ba ba, boom. And it was you heard it gone in 60 seconds. That movie was based about me eating 2 corn dogs. But you know,
You've seen a Dyson work.
I'm the Dyson. I'm the vacuum for corn dog. You know,
like, whoa.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't had a corn dog since then.
Oh no, you need to keep that tradition alive.
Actually, that's not true. I just remembered I had one the other day, but it's been a while. I haven't been going hard on those corn dogs. They were so good though, and you're just jealous because you can't eat them. So
that is correct, and so I have no other option but to slam.
Yeah. You make fun of me, but somebody just asked for the flare, and of course I give you the flare. Thank you, caller, so much. It was a great question. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
You too.
You too. And sorry you got caught up in that. We apologize.
It was Chris.
That's okay.
It's Chris's fault.
We're grateful for
Very
you. Though. Thanks
entertaining.
for being a rat, a lab rat.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Hello. They go. Are you there, caller?
Houston, we have a problem.
5, 4. I know you're there because I can hear you. You just don't know that I can hear you. Are you eating a corn dog?
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Hi. Hi, Josh and Chris. I'm a big fan of both of you guys.
Thank you. Probably me more, though,
And
but
I
that's
just
okay.
want, because there needs to be at least another hockey reference. I live right in the middle of the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins, Chris.
Oh, wow. Go.
Just kidding.
Okay,
I
who's
really
your
love
team?
calling for True Crime and just calling as a fan. But I did have a question for Chris. A while ago, he recommended a book that we all should read, and I read it, and it was tremendous. And turns out it's on the top of every to be read list ever, and I missed it somehow. But it was Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh,
Remember,
yes,
Chris?
yes.
Yes.
By
So,
Viktor
not to be on
Frankl.
top tonight, but I was wondering if at any point you could give us a book list. I need more reading.
Sure. I'll talk to my Karen and we'll put something up. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Between that book and all your parables that you share on your community page, I just really appreciate your positive outlook. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
I can only
Josh,
imagine.
And Josh is right with us, right? We love it. He's right with us. We brought him over. He's here. But he was already there. He was just kind of tucked in the background. He's real humble.
Yeah, big time. Super humble.
Yeah.
Am I doing okay? Crystal wants to know.
I don't know. Are you?
I hope so.
See, nobody ever asks me that. That's why I know that you're beloved, is because like people are like, oh, how's Chris doing? It's like, yeah, I stubbed my toe last week, but thanks for asking. But it's fine. It's whatever. It
comes with age. It comes with age.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, you think so?
I don't know. I don't let the old man in. I learned that from a very good friend of mine. His name is John Streikemeyer. They call him Tilt. And if you guys ever want a really good book, go read his. It's the SOG Chronicles, SOG Chronicles. But he was one of the first Green Berets in Vietnam. And he's an amazing human being. I'm just privileged to call him a friend. And Mary, look at this. Here you go.
Yeah, I see it. I sure do. What an honor. It's going to name a corn dog after me.
There you go. The Josh dog.
Yeah, I don't know what a good name for. You know what we should do? We should have a poll. We'll do it on the community page. We'll think of a couple names and then we can vote. How's that? I'm sure that it's going to be the most thoughtful and respectful name that we can think of that will honor me for forever. So sure, I'm into it. But a homemade corn dog sounds delicious.
Mary, you're amazing.
Sounds delicious.
You're amazing.
7-Eleven used to have the corn dogs where they would inject like cheese, like what is it? It was like jalapeno cheddar cheese. Like it was like 700 calories or 800 calories for one little corn dog. But it was like the best. Somebody hung up. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I think we lost our other caller.
Hello.
Oh, hey, I don't know how you got through, but how are you?
Fine.
What can I do for you?
Hello.
Hi.
I was calling through. I'm from Greenville, Tennessee. I was calling through.
Are you? Is your computer, or do you have some background noise on?
Yeah, probably. Some background noise on. Hang on, I'll go where I don't have. How's that?
Hey, we'll
Yes,
wait.
ma'am.
Is this better?
It is better.
Okay. I'm a fan of you and Josh and Chris both. I don't listen to a lot of the YouTubers because Chris is the more legitimate person, so I listen to him. But I do have a question. Do you find it odd that both Jose and another man died within close proximity of each other?
Well, like I said, I'm not even 100%. I mean, I'm 99% sure that the information on Jose is true, but I don't even. Who's the other person?
Don's coworker.
Did he die in San
The one he
Diego?
blamed that said he's the one that come up on the hill and took Summer.
Did he die in San Diego?
They said that he died, and then within a week of him supposedly them saying he died, that Jose had passed on.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with anybody else that had passed. Are you talking about Jerry?
They said it was somebody that worked with Dawn. I don't know. It was another YouTube channel that I caught it when I was scrolling today on YouTube. So
yeah,
may not be true.
No, I don't think there's any grand conspiracy out there. I don't think that Jose passing has anything to do with the case. I don't think any. I
live about 20 minutes from where Summer lived because I live in Greenville, Tennessee.
Okay, gotcha. No, I don't.
Greenville, Jonesboro, Johnson City, Kingsport. That's how it goes. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I truly don't have any feelings that there's somebody out there snuffing.
I wouldn't think so.
Snuffing
but
people
just
out.
Weird to hear that.
It is weird and it is a shock, but honestly, a lot of these people that are involved in this case have terrible habits. They have had rough lives. And like if somebody were to say tomorrow that, and I'm not saying that, if Dawn had a stroke or something, that wouldn't shock me in the least. I mean, he smokes, he drinks, he does drugs, he's late 50s, and I think that a lot of that, you find a lot of that in this case. There's a lot of drinking and smoking and drug doing. I don't know what happened to Jose, but I don't think that it's connected at all. What about you, Chris?
Well, I've been following it since the day I received the Amber Alert, and that little girl's never left my mind.
Wow.
But I followed Chris through all of it and you. And I'm like Chris. I just think Candace is behind a lot of it. And I think that it was an accident and they hit it.
Yeah. I mean, is that still, Chris, is that kind of your theory still?
I haven't left the house. And now,
that's what I thought.
Yep. Has she, does she come to the house? Was she in the house? I don't know, but something went down in that environment.
And I think the scream they heard was probably Candace, according to Grandma.
Maybe, yeah.
And
you're in God's country out there in Tennessee, and thank you so much for your support of both Josh and I. We're grateful.
Well, we appreciate you all, and we'll keep you all in our prayers.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for calling.
So much. Have a great night.
All right. Good night.
Good night. All right. So let's see here. We've gone 2 hours here. We beat Chris up. Chris has beat me up. And we'll go ahead and take one final call here. And don't worry, I don't believe this will be the last time. So if you don't get through, it's going to be okay. And maybe, and Chris, after we take this phone call, there's a couple questions that I put on there that, we'll take, but,
okay.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Good, thanks.
I get so excited when I hear a sweet voice on the other end, like not somebody going, "Hey, Josh, you big dummy." I'm waiting for that one. But
no, that was saved for Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Let him have it.
Yep.
But I'm calling from Northern Illinois, and I'm a big fan of you guys. I just have an observation I want your opinion on, either of you. The whole thing with Summer helping Candace plant those flowers, I don't think that that's true, because Candace took pictures of everything. And there's no pictures of that. And I think that that would be an endearing moment to take pictures of. Where are the pictures of it?
Yeah, she seemed to document every little thing that they would do when it comes to, when you talk about people, Instagram, it's not real life, because you don't get to see the bad moments. You only see the good ones. And she definitely posted the good ones. Look, I think that whole thing's made up. I don't think that they were planting anything. Who plants succulents?
Yeah.
And
I don't
what were they
think
trying to
so
do?
either.
Spruce up their yard? That yard was worse than when Chris showed up. I mean, and Chris, when you showed up, how bad was it?
Oh, it was horrific. It was horrible. And you're right. I mean, I agree with you with it. It's like, let's plant these cactus.
We got a big day ahead of us. It is weird. So I've always thought, like most people, that was a time fill. That was just something that she could say that kind of stretched the time out. The fact of the matter is, from 2:30 to 6:35, nobody knows what really happened except Candace, and I'm sure the boys know a bit more. I don't know what they know, but I leave that up to the officials to sort that out with them. But there seemed to be a lot of people at home when she went missing. And I mean, cactus, in the middle of summer.
And she had her wash her hands. I don't think those kids have ever washed their hands. I mean, it's probably rude to say.
Well, if they did, they weren't directed by their mother to do it, probably.
Right. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's just my thought on it.
Yeah, I think that it was nothing more than a story filler. I mean, you get nobody wants them to say, "Oh, Candace isn't going to say, you know what, like from 2:30 to 3:30, I was drunk and high and wasn't paying attention to anything." That's not going to go over very well with the police, because if she would have said that, she very well could have been arrested right then and there for neglect. Similar to the Bixby case, where the father said that he left the kids at home while he went out to do whatever on more than one occasion. Well, the kid is missing. He admits to that, and they lock him up for child endangerment. She made sure, because she's dealt with CPS before, her story, she made sure that they weren't going to nail her that day for something. She wasn't going to say, I passed out, or I was zoning out, or I had started drinking, or I was off doing things I shouldn't have been doing. She tried to make herself seem like the perfect mother, the helicopter mom, walked her over to the steps, blah, blah, blah. I think it's all made up. And I think that most people feel that way. Just like you.
I feel that way. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just, and I do believe that she went missing that day just because there's so many people that did see her. I mean, it is confirmed by many people that they saw her on June 15th. I just saw somebody in the chat say that they weren't convinced that she went missing on June 15th. I guess anything's possible, except there would probably be about 7 or 8 different people that would be lying to. I mean, if that's what they told the investigators, then they're all in cahoots where they say, well, let's all say that we saw Summer that day. Well, that would equal to a grand conspiracy. And I don't see that either. I think it was an isolated incident. I mean, if you listen to what Hunter says, he says flat out, I think they did something with her because she went missing not that long after they dropped me off. And then, so if they dropped him off, say he figures around 2:30. Well, she wasn't reported missing until 6:30. That 4 hours isn't really like, it's not something somebody would say, oh, she went missing a short time after. 4 hours is a significant amount of time. I believe that she went missing much earlier in the day and that something was done with her much earlier in the day.
Just gave them plenty of time to do whatever they needed to do with her.
Yeah.
Whether, hand her off to somebody or, bury her somewhere.
Well, see, that's the other
accident
thing.
Happened.
The handoff theory, the only person they could have handed her off to, I mean, within reason, would have been Dawn.
Right.
The people say, oh, an unknown. No.
No.
Everybody has said this from day one. And I know people were upset with the Dr. Phil episode or whatever. Dr. Phil flat out said that he wasn't buying what Candace was selling, that she has more information than what she said. And he said, and when this case is solved, you're going to know who did this. You're going to know them. They're going to be close. To me, that was just telling, because I know that I guess he was placating them so Candace wouldn't walk off stage, but he didn't let her off the hook, in my opinion, and so everybody kind of feels the same way, that Candace has much more knowledge, and if not just directly responsible. And I still believe that it is 100% possible that Dawn doesn't know. It's possible. Candace is not, Candace is fully capable of pulling, like, lying like this to her grave. I mean, she's fully capable of it. Anybody that pulls a shotgun on a CPS worker, they'll kind of do anything. She's got quite the rap sheet. So, but thank you for the
anybody that could, put on the act like she did with Mary that night, crying and crying. I mean, come on, she deserves the Academy Award for that.
Well, there you go with the master manipulation stuff. I've said it before.
Oscar goes to.
What's that? Yeah, exactly.
And the Oscar goes to. One of the just to dovetail into what Josh just said. I think one of the challenges here is, let's hypothesize that Dom was at work, right? And that his phone shows that he was there, and then he comes home. Okay. But where was he? There's a gap between that, that time frame between 2:30 and 6:30, or 3:30 and 6:30, depending on what time frame everybody runs with. But either way, they're within an hour of each other. Well, what happens in that time frame? If you're in construction at that time, do we know that he wasn't home? One of the things that's always bothered me is the statement about the boys went with Dawn to work. And yet we have the boys at home, playing all these video games and stuff. And so that was a complete, flip-flop, that in of itself. And then, of course, we get to this, just forgive them, just don't hold grudges. Don't worry about it. God will do this and this and that. And, we'll see her again in the resurrection. And I see her buried. I see her in the dungeon and all that stuff, not to rehash what he said again, but, all of that. Okay. Where does that come from up here? How do these types of sentences get to the forefront when your daughter, immediately got gone. And so this gap that Don has created here, in my opinion, has what has always kept me at the house. It's a clarity of focus of, don't chase the things that we don't know. Stay with what we know. And this is why the significance of that statement from Candace that evening when she was intoxicated, I want to tell them. Okay. And when you watch the Dr. Phil show again, and they say to him, well, Don, we think you've done nothing. And you just watch him, explode with delight internally. Okay. Well, that's classic in relationship to not understanding there are two lanes going here. And I've always, remember, we've always talked about two trains, right, Josh?
Yep.
We've got the summer train on one track, and we've got the dawn train on the other track. And at some point, do they cross into each other? Do they merge? Do they merge into the same station? And this is why Jeannie and Mary and all of this other, significant SA information, the violence of it, is critical. It's critical. Because now when the train comes to a tunnel, i.e. CPS, and CPS says, hey, you're not going to talk about this. Your Honor put a gag order on this case to talk about the other kids. Is that a significant piece of, Summer's story? In my opinion, absolutely, because that shut Pruitt down. And he came out and said it. He says, it's kind of a dicey scenario here where I'm dealing with now attorneys on the kid's side, which has kind of bled over into Summer's investigation. Therefore, what I think they're doing is they've stepped back and they're taking, a very cautious approach. But I am still convinced that Candace knows much more than she's revealing. And I think at some point that information is going to present itself, because you can't hold out forever. You can't hold out forever. Even they're working on her sister's case. So, but anyway, that's just my opinion. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you for letting me call in. And Mary, if you are still listening, God bless you. And I have great respect for you and your sister.
That's very nice.
Yeah. And Zanzat, I do believe that Don knows also.
Yeah. I just said, I believe, I see it. I wouldn't be surprised if Candace was the lone person that was actively trying to cover it up. But at some point, you would think that he would have to know. I don't know what that point is, but the odds of him not knowing anything are just,
Yeah, they know. I think they all know.
I think so too. And that's why none of them are talking, or like the caller earlier that was talking about the 7 years of a man's life that was ripped apart and they found the real killer. They're not actively searching for anybody. And if she was really abducted, then that's what they would be doing. But thank you so much for calling, and I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right.
And the objection thought, Josh, while you're answering that. What's Don that? Saying, in the abduction thought, right? With Don saying, I know she was abducted. Okay.
Right.
Well, here's the elephant in the living room. Okay. Share that with us. Help us know. Help me understand that. Because I asked him, I can't tell you how many times. How do you know that?
And another thing that he would always say is, well, I always knew something bad was going to happen to her.
Right.
Well, how'd you know that? Well, either it goes back to him having psychic abilities, or he saw what kind of care Candace was providing his children while he was at work. And by the way, if he really felt that upset about it, about her not taking care of the kids the way that he didn't see that, the way that he thought was necessary, the fact that he would just leave him or leave them with her is neglect in itself. And he's culpable of everything as well. I mean, if I came home and my wife was nodding off with a cigarette in her hand and, drinking, and there's kids all over the house, I mean, I would have a serious problem with that. And rightfully so. I think in either way, if a mother came home and saw a husband doing that, and it happens, folks, it does happen. Look, I mean, unfortunately it happens, but you have to put your children first. And none of that seems to have happened in this case. But anyway, Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming on. And this was an awesome idea. I really, truly, and thank you to all the callers. So respectful and nice. And it's fantastic. We got to do it again.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much. Anything you want to say before you leave?
No. Get a name for your corn dog, and I think we should get Davy Crockett hats for your merchandise with a little corn dog hanging off the back of it like a little tail, like they do in Disneyland, in Frontierland.
Right.
And you can call them, corn hats or whatever you want to call it. But I think it needs to, that'd be great merch. So with that, my buddy, just remember, if it starts raining, to walk between the raindrops.
I appreciate that advice. Thank you. I'll give it a try.
Good night.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for being here.
See you Sunday, by the way. I've got a great show coming.
Can't wait. 4:00 Pacific, 7 Eastern.
Yeah, I'm hoping my buddy Manny can make it. He's got COVID right now, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying that, but he sent me just a message a little bit ago. But either way, I'll see you Sunday. We'll see everybody Sunday night. Thank you, Lab Rats.
All right.
Aloha. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Chris.
Be good to each other.
Well, there you have it, folks. A great show. Thank you for all the. It was very hard to keep up with chat while taking phone calls, so I apologize. I wasn't trying to ignore the chat. I know that a lot of you had great questions, and we'll try to streamline that a little better next time, where we can try to incorporate that as well. But thank you to everybody who kept trying to call in. Thank you to everybody that did call in. I'm sorry if you didn't get through. We will try better next time. Hopefully we can get a call queue or something like that, so we can try to get through more calls than before. So thanks again for being here. Thank you to all the new members, subscribers, super chats, super stickers. You guys are just really awesome. Thank you for supporting this channel and showing up and showing love on such short notice. God be with everybody in Texas, and it's just heartbreaking. Hold your kids tight. It's just a horrible feeling. There's nothing that I can say or anything that I want to say that will change anything. It's just, as somebody who has children that are in school, who have been put in a lockdown before, it's terrifying. So, thank you guys. God bless everybody. Thank you for being here. This is the Lab. Thank you again to Chris McDonough. We'll catch you guys next time.
There is no.
There is not, really? It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side.
I'm going to do what I got to do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There is not, really? It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, that's real tough.
have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I got to do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
It's not really. It is to me.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.